There was once a craftsman who lived at the edge of a town. He made simple tools, knives, chisels, small wooden handles worn smooth by his hands. He never advertised. He never stood in the marketplace telling people how skilled he was or how long he'd been working. He just made things carefully and left them to speak for themselves. Across the square, another man sold similar goods. But this man was loud. He called out to passers-by, promised the sharpest blades, the finest handles, the best value in all the land. People stopped to listen. Some even bought from him. But within weeks they returned. The knives dulled quickly, the handles split. Quietly they began walking to the edge of town, to the craftsman who said nothing. His work lasted, and word spread, not because he spoke, but because his tools did. We live in a world that rewards noise. The loudest voice gets attention. The most confident claim gets heard. We're taught to announce ourselves, to build a brand, to project an image, to make sure people know who we are and what we're capable of. And so we talk, we explain our qualifications, we list our achievements, we tell people about our power, our knowledge, our worth. We think that if we don't say it, no one will see it. But the Taoist teaching offers something different. It says those who know don't speak. Those who speak don't know. This isn't about silence for its own sake. It's about understanding the difference between fame and reputation. Fame is gained through noise, through self-promotion, declarations, the performance of competence. Reputation is built through action, through consistency, integrity, results that speak louder than any announcement ever could. Fame is loud and brittle. It requires constant maintenance, constant reminding, constant proof. You have to keep telling people who you are because the moment you stop, they forget. Reputation is quiet and durable. It accumulates slowly through what you do when no one is watching, through how you show up day after day, through the gap or lack of gap between what you say and what you deliver. Reputation doesn't need your voice. It has its own. Lao Tzu writes in the Tao Te Ching, "The wise do not display themselves, therefore they shine. They do not justify themselves, therefore they are noted. They do not boast, therefore they have merit." This runs counter to everything we've been taught. We think we need to explain ourselves, prove ourselves, make our value visible. But the teaching says just act. Demonstrate with your hands, your choices, your presence. Let your work carry the weight. Let your behavior be the argument. When you talk about who you are, you're asking people to take you at your word. And words are easy. Anyone can claim wisdom, power, skill, but actions are evidence. They can't be faked, not over time. You can say you're honest, but if you lie when it's convenient, people will know. You can say you're capable, but if your work is sloppy, it shows. You can say you're kind, but if you're harsh in small moments, the pattern reveals itself. People believe what they see, not what they hear. This doesn't mean you never speak about yourself. It means you stop relying on speech to do what only action can do. You stop trying to convince people of your worth and start letting your worth become evident. You stop announcing your intentions and start following through on them. You stop talking about what you know and start applying it. Sooner or later, everyone accepts actions, not because they're polite, not because they're giving you the benefit of the doubt, but because actions are undeniable. There's a certain humility in this way of being, not the false humility that downplays genuine skill, but the real humility that doesn't need to prove anything. It knows its own competence and doesn't require external validation to confirm it. It works quietly. It listens more than it speaks. It lets results accumulate without commentary. And over time, this quiet consistency builds something that no amount of self-promotion ever could. Trust. Trust isn't built through what you say about yourself. It's built through the reliability of your actions over time. Do you do what you say you'll do? Do you show up when it's inconvenient? Do you maintain your standards when no one is watching? Do your words and behaviors align? Or is there a gap between your image and your reality? People notice. They may not say anything, but they notice and they remember. The person who constantly talks about their power often has very little. They're trying to fill the gap between who they are and who they want to be seen as with words. The person who quietly demonstrates their capability doesn't need to fill that gap. There isn't one. What they are and what they do are the same thing, and that coherence is what others recognize and respect. Even if they can't always name it, this is especially true in moments of difficulty. When things go wrong, talk means nothing. Promises mean nothing. What matters is whether you act. Do you step forward or step back? Do you take responsibility or deflect? Do you fix what's broken or just explain why it broke? The person who acts earns respect. The person who only speaks loses it. And here's the deeper layer. When you stop needing to announce yourself, you free up enormous energy. Energy that was going into managing your image, defending your reputation, making sure people think well of you. All of that can now go into actually doing the work. You stop performing competence and start embodying it. You stop worrying about perception and start focusing on reality. And paradoxically, the less you try to convince people of your worth, the more clearly it shows. Lao Tzu also says that when the work is done, the people say, it happened naturally. This is the mark of true skill. It doesn't draw attention to itself. It doesn't need credit. It simply acts and the results follow. The craftsman doesn't need to explain how the knife was made. The knife cuts. That's the whole story. So there's no need to talk about who you are, what you know, or what power you hold. Just act. Show it through your work, your choices, your consistency. Let your reputation build itself. One action at a time, one kept promise at a time. One moment of integrity at a time. The noise will fade. The actions will remain. And sooner or later, everyone will see what you never had to say. The craftsman kept working. His hands moved over wood and metal, shaping, refining, finishing. He never raised his voice. He never made a claim. But when people needed tools that would last, they knew where to go. The work had already spoken. If this resonates, following the channel genuinely helps me keep creating. But if not, that's absolutely fine. Thank you for being here. See you tomorrow in the next episode. Have a calm and peaceful day.